My body fat has never been over 11%.
Wow, that's impressive.
35 years now, never.
35 years and your body fat has never been over 11%. Welcome back to the Storm Fitness Academy podcast. And I'm super excited because I am going to be continuing chatting to Ray Conway. This is part 2 of my interview with him. And if you've forgotten who he is, or you're not listening to last episode, check it out. But Ray is a ripped 66-year-old and he's a very experienced, knowledgeable and all-round lovely bloke. So now today's going to be really sort of focused on longevity, nutrition, training as you age, and some of the science and experience behind how he works with his clients now. We'll also have a little chat about breathwork, trauma release, loads of good stuff. So really excited. Let's get stuck in. Now, I know also you're big into longevity as well. And this is something that it fascinates me. I don't know if it comes at a certain age, all of a sudden you suddenly get interested in, you know, not just living longer, but living good quality years as you get older. But for a while now, I mean, I'm 46 this year, but for quite a few years, I've been interested in just that area, that subject area. So I know that's something you sort of promote and support with your clients. So can you tell me a bit more about that?
Again, this goes back a long way. It originally started kind of 94, 95. I had an immune system disorder called Addison's disease, which took a long time to diagnose. And my blood sugar levels were all over the place, basically. And then I met a nutritionist who was telling me about blood sugar and inflammation. And I started doing what she was saying, taking my bloods every few hours. You know, I had to prick my finger and a little machine, and then they couldn't have the proper thing on your arm. But I learned an awful lot, and weight control and all the sort of things which even today with people who training people, it's all calorie deficit this and, you know, macros that. You know, I've never done that in my life. I've always just watched my blood sugars, make sure they didn't surge, kept protein very high. And my body fat has never been over 11%.
Wow, that's impressive.
35 years now, never.
35 years and your body fat has never been over 11%.
No, it's about 8.59 at the moment, which is about normal, but it never goes above 11. Never have I got it above 11.
Wow, that's got people listening. And that's from managing your blood sugars.
Yeah, it's I go on a metabolic health all the way. 5 markers: your waist measurement for a man, less than 40; for a woman, less than 34. Your blood pressure, your triglycerides, your resting glucose in the morning level, and the cholesterol. They are 5 markers that I go by, particularly the blood glucose. And about a year ago, I started up this longevity program, just using them markers only, getting people to go to doctors, but really looking at the blood glucose. And I found that when people are not controlling their blood glucose, the glucose levels just spiking all day, every day. And over a long period of time, that causes blood pressure to rise. It's an inflammation, and it gets to a level up here somewhere where that's inflammation. That's where all the bad stuff happens. That's where you get your high blood pressure, your type 2 diabetes, your heart issues, any COPD stuff. But if you trace it all back to the source, it's all the first meal of the day. You see it now from people like Philip Octavia has been quite big on metabolic health, and the glucose goddess recently I saw is pretty much on that same sort of thing. And just eating savoury foods, nothing that's going to spike your blood sugar. And this 1 year, I've had guys losing massive weight, people coming off blood pressure medication, one guy coming out of type 2 diabetes, another guy coming off beta blockers. And they don't realise how heavy medication that is. When they come off them, it just almost like they've been turbocharged again. But and it really is just keeping on people, not particularly looking at their calories, but I'm getting them to send me photos of their meals every day. It's a very basic system. So every meal I have, I've got a picture of it, and then I'll give them what I think on it. I'll get them moving in some way, either mostly online, or if I get them in the gym, I get them in the gym. And it's been very successful. It's been great. But I've kept the numbers down. I keep down to just over 20, because that's about all I can control at the moment. people that slip off it now and again, but I can tell. And it's a question of a phone call saying, what's going on, what you've been doing, and then getting back on it.
As a career, it's a very intrinsically rewarding career, isn't it?
Well, demographic is 45 to 65, really. And most of the people are guys in their 50s. And it just seems to be something that happens to guys. There's this thing called glycation. We're like a chicken when we're born. So we've got all white flesh and nice colour flesh. And as we get older, our bodies cook. And then it gets to a level when we're cooked, and that's when we die. And that's an inflammation journey all the way. So if you could do anything to interrupt that inflammation, keep that down, especially when you're kind of hitting between our ages, really, and keep that down, and you're going to give people a better quality of life. They're not going to get those illnesses, those inflammatory illnesses, which are so debilitating.
My understanding with inflammation is its intention is good, but it always overreacts, doesn't it? And instead of just going after the cells that it's meant to go after, it goes after the healthy ones as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, it goes after everything, yeah.
That's getting your blood sugars right. It's if you start the day badly, you're setting yourself up for a roller coaster the rest of the day, aren't you? Because once that blood sugar goes up, you then get a big dump of insulin, so then you get a crash, and it's just like this, isn't it, then after that?
Yeah, and then if you're at night time, you have a high glucose meal or dessert or something like that, you're going to have a big sugar spike while you're asleep, and then you're crashing. As you wake up, you've crashed. You're going to wake up feeling tired, feel horrible, and it's just going to be a chase today from there.
Yeah, I learned this the hard way. I actually, a few years back, 3 years ago, overnight, I watched a documentary that freaked me out, and I stopped eating meat. I went vegan like completely overnight, and I didn't do it strategically at all. I just went straight into it. I didn't take any supplementation for anything I was missing. I didn't, and this is, I feel like such a muppet because this is my bread and butter. But and I would never advise a client to do it the way I did it, and I just ignored all my own advice and did it. Just didn't even take any additional protein supplement, anything like that at all. And my energy levels and everything just rapidly declined, and I gained so much weight. I gained sort of 8 to 10 kilos. Which I'm still trying to lose. Probably I became a little bit insulin resistant too, because my carbohydrates were so high from replacing all my proteins, and my cholesterol dropped. So my cholesterol went to literally, it was below 2. And, but the problem with that is, although normally we think that's great, the problem is you need cholesterol to then create testosterone as well. So it was, I did learn that the hard way, unfortunately.
Yeah, I did exactly the same as you, John. I did it a couple of times. I just did it off the cuff. I just basically replaced meat with tofu and stuff like that. And I was sick of it in about 4 days. And then the second time I actually used a nutritionist to do it properly. But I think I lasted 10 days. I just felt shocking, felt awful on it. And then a couple of years ago, I went the other way. I was carnivore for 2 months, and I just got completely ripped, even leaner than I normally am. I looked like I was on steroids. I slept so well. Just felt very calm. That's a strange thing to say, but I just felt really calm. My energy levels were great. I think everybody's different, their body type different, but for me, definitely, I'm more or less like 80% carnivore now.
I'm sort of not ready to commit yet to sort of what exactly is going on with me, but I think potentially my body doesn't want me to stop eating meat. I think it does thrive better probably with it, but it's just hard because I went into it for the right reasons, to try and be good to animals and the planet and everything else. But unfortunately, it hasn't gone that well. But so you mentioned obviously the trauma release technique. I had a friend of mine actually showed me a video of himself doing that, where he was sort of spasming, and he was very much what you said, saying how unbelievable it was. So it was intriguing when he was telling me about that. But and breath work,
Just do some breath work, and I remember the first session I done under supervision, and he was just talking me through the different timings in your breath work, and he said, "If you feel anything, let me know." And like I said, I could just feel my hands coming off the floor a little bit. I didn't know what to expect, so he said, "Okay, just think about your breathe through your hands, and we're increasing our breath work then." I said, then next, what next? I said, I could feel my arms off the floor. And but anyway, I'm a proper skeptic of this, John, and I just completely trying to just concentrate on the rhythm of the breathing he's telling me. And like you say, next thing I'm like having epileptic fit. I'm just fighting and kicking, and I absolutely no control over it. And he had to change my breathing and bring it down. And in the second session I have them, I thought, right, this isn't going to happen this time. This is not going to, because the first time took about 20 minutes. I thought, right, this is not going to happen this time. I know what's coming. I'm going to be properly in control of this. 2 minutes, I reckon. I was just twitching away immediately.
Yeah. So if you were to just sort of summarize, then what's the purpose of it and what's happening? Is it to release trauma, I suppose?
Yeah, well, that's the trauma. That's different. It's trauma release. Yeah, it's a specialized way of, you need to have someone do that to you. It's quite special. You've got to be quite a higher level breathwork instructor to be able to do that. But it's amazing. It is amazing. But the main problem with breathing is we've all suffered trauma at some time or other during our lives. All of us, not a single person hasn't. And they've become mouth breathers when we should be nose breathing. If you look at a baby, you can see their little backs are going. You look at any animal in the wild, you see their backs, they're breathing through their nose. But for some reason, we've become mouth breathers. Our mouths have got smaller, our lips have got smaller, and we're just breathing through our mouth. And if there's anything to learn from breathwork, it's just literally learn to be a nose breather, because you've got this amazing organ which warms the air, cuts down all infection. So, for instance, a lot of people seem to get ill on planes these days with COVID and what have you. But because of my training I've done, I consciously throughout the day I'm nose breathing all the time. And it's made such a difference. So I don't get ill. I don't get anything now. Never got COVID. Don't get no colds. Nothing ever. It's just because I'm also high vitamin D. I take a lot of vitamin D, but it's the breath work. I think I do it every day. Or 15-minute journey in the mornings on the train. I do my social media first of all, and then for the next 20 minutes, I just do the breath work. And by the time I get to work off the train, I'm good to go. Good to go.
Oh wow, you've really got me intrigued, because I've got I'm actually on the waiting list to have an operation, because I've got a bent septum from fighting as a kid and boxing and stuff, and I've also got a couple of polyps from allergies. I had asthma and have you. And I sound like a mess, don't I?
We're all a mess.
So I'm waiting to have my septum straightened and my polyps taken out. So I am a mouth breather. I really struggle to breathe out my nose at night. And it really disrupts my sleep. So I'm dying to get that sorted.
Yeah, I think get that done and then sort of teach yourself how to nose breathe. There's plenty of sort of videos on YouTube, and there's even a stream where you put this little bit of tape over your mouth before you go to bed, just a little bit. You don't have to. I'm not saying a big load of gaffer tape around your head or anything. Just a little bit on your mouth, and that subconsciously teaches you to breathe through your nose.
Okay, so because I've heard about this, and I always thought,
what
if I can't open my mouth, and I'd end up sort of dying in the middle of the night. But I'm assuming, you just put enough that you can overcome it.
Scared the life out of your missus, but
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, I've got life insurance, so she's probably counting on that actually. But you've done some online training as well, haven't you? You've worked with some clients online.
Yeah, I do a lot online. When the COVID came along, it was forced upon me really, and it came very quickly, didn't it? COVID, and I had very busy practice. Literally, I think, oh my God, what am I going to do? I was just going to go on for. Got out my client list, phoned everybody up, texted everybody, messaged everybody. And within 3 weeks, I was 7 days a week, 8-10 hours a day, just coaching online all the time. And just had to get very inventive very quickly. And from that, a lot of my early morning people, my guys like solicitors, lawyers, would only come to me to train. They have to have an hour, 2 hours out of their day to come to me to train during the day. Now in the mornings, they get out of bed, whatever equipment they've got, I'll coach them in the mornings, and their coaching is done by 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock, and then they go to work. So for them, it's worked really well. So I've got a bit of a hybrid business now. I do online one-on-ones, and I do the longevity program as well.
That's brilliant. And, if you don't mind me saying, I don't want to stereotype, but people that have been in the industry for a long time and, slightly more mature like yourself can often be technophobes, can't they? And shy away from using online bits and pieces. But you've really embraced that, haven't you?
Well, I'm not very good at IT. That's the thing. I use an app called Trainerize to send my workouts down to people. But that's one big thing people coming into the industry now. I think they need to be really good tech skills. I've had to learn it, but mine is very basic. Send a Zoom, try to get headset working, and I'm quite happy with that. But tech skills are definitely, you need them. You need that. You need the social media now. I don't think I've ever worked hard, John, to be honest with you. If I'm not training people, I'm doing social media, I'm doing programs online, or I'm checking up on people. It's doing a lot of hours on it. But, I can't complain because, we love it, don't we?
Yeah, it's nice work. Yeah, that's the thing, what you said there. If you're not working in the business, you're working on the business, aren't you?
Exactly, yeah.
And have you got like a particular method or strategy that you use for just sort of keeping clients motivated? Because obviously when you're working with them online, sometimes it's harder, isn't it, to keep that adherence there? Is there anything specific that you do?
I've probably got a short client list compared to other PTs, but I've got people who've been with me 20 years, 22 years, 15 years, and so I'm obviously doing something, right?
Yeah, that's it. You just do a good job. That's the answer.
Yeah, I just think just be very vigilant in what you do. You have to turn up every day. You have to turn up positive every day. You have to prep. Prep is secret. Like, you've got to be prepped. Keep good records. Listen to your clients. Listen to what they're saying. That's really, really important. I listened to your podcast the other day, the one where you were doing about sports specific, turning people into athletes, and that's definitely something I like to do. If someone's got a sport like tennis, I've got a guy at the moment who plays a lot of tennis. Two guys actually, and so I do a lot of stuff with them, a lot of core stuff, a lot of ladder stuff, fast footwork. They're all playing better for it.
Well, we often think with PT, everything is about breaking clients down and rebuilding them. Some of it is that, but a lot of it is actually just rehearsal, isn't it? It's getting them used to doing things that they might have to do one day in life, like run away from something or run for a bus or, run around with the grandkids or whatever. It's doing little drills and little practices that mean the body gets exposure to that and feels quite okay doing it all.
Yeah, definitely. I recently got a new client, a 75-year-old lady, which is, she decided at 75 she wants the PT, which I was absolutely amazed about. I just love her to pieces. But she said she couldn't get out of the chair, couldn't get off the ground, this kind of thing. So we started with the chair stuff, got her going on that. Now I'm on the floor of a kind of a hybrid Turkish get up, if you like, getting her legs underneath her body quickly. And she's lost good weight. She feels incredible. Just strengthening her legs all the time and just repeating it so that it just becomes part of her body. And it's one of my favorite sessions of the week. She's such a nice lady. She's so up for it. And, she can't believe it. She can get off the floor now quite easily. And it sounds simple. It sounds silly, but, it's something you wouldn't think about when you're 30, 35. You always think you're indestructible there. But you think about it when you're 70, 75, and you've got to be able to get out of a chair. I mean, statistics are only 1 in 3 people over the age of 40 get out of a chair unaided in this country. It's crazy statistics.
Wow. Yeah, because there's a couple of little tests for measures of longevity. And there's even like being able to do a dead hang for 30 seconds is linked to longevity. And there's the other one that was, I think it was a Brazilian study that was carried out where you have to go from a standing position down to the floor and back up again without using any hands or any knees. And you lose a point for like if you get an elbow on the floor or if you get a knee on the floor. And if you can get 10 points, your risk of dying prematurely plummets apparently.
Yeah, it's crazy stats, isn't it? Yeah, crazy stats.
From all your experience, your years and years of experience and all the trauma and everything that you've been experiencing over the years, what would you say has been your biggest lesson that you've learned from your career in fitness?
First thing is not trying to break them down and rebuild them, as you've correctly pointed out. It's a good one. Trying to do anything too complicated with them. You know, if you can get them to squat, run on a treadmill, hold plank, all the basic stuff, then you're building. Everything comes from those sort of movements, really. Just really listen to your client. Just try to push them on a little bit each time. Just give them a little bit of a challenge each time. Keep good records, plenty of encouragement always. And I think, I know it'll be funny, John, I think as well, my biggest advantage as well is that I am 66 and I am in shape. So there's no arguing with me, really. So, you know, when people are saying to me, they don't know how old I am, then it's been a massive advantage for me. That's what I found over the last few years, definitely.
Yeah, that's great. I really like that. So, you know, for number one, it starts with modeling.
Leading from the front.
And I like that you mentioned record keeping, because I talk about collecting data quite a lot to my students, and the importance of gathering data so that you can show them how they're improving, and you can work out, you know, where are the deficits, where are the areas that we need to develop, and you know what's really good, what can we continue just to reinforce, but then over here this needs working on to improve you. But it's so motivational, isn't it, when you can just say to someone, look, this is what you were doing when you came to me a few weeks ago, this is what you're doing now. If you don't keep those records, as you call it, you're missing out on an opportunity, aren't you?
Especially as you say, like the world of data now, working in the city, everyone's using data, so they want to see data for themselves as well.
Of course, yeah. So I suppose that's from your previous career. You already came in with the understanding the importance of data and record keeping.
I think a lot of that's just to understanding the animal that I'm dealing with, because as I spent 20 years, I've been 45 years in a city now. So, but first 20 odd of them were in a trading environment. So I'm used to that kind of hyper stressed guy, and I can understand exactly what he's going through, and I know how to talk to him. I think that's been a massive advantage for me of keeping my people as well, because I have done this stuff. I can talk to them about what's going on in the market, so I do understand what they're going through and why it's hard to sleep and all the rest of it, and just make little adjustments for them and keep them well, keep them on it.
Wonderful. That's been fantastic, Ray. I've really enjoyed that. And for anyone listening or watching, where can they find you?
But I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook, Ray Conway Personal Training. I've got a website as well, a new website, really nice website full of testimonials and that kind of thing, and what I do. Yeah, I'm quite easy to find. If you Google me, I'm on page 1 of the Google. So,
all right. Well, thanks, Ray, and yeah, we'll chat again soon.
Great, thanks, John. Really enjoyed it. Nice to see you.
Right, there we go. That wraps it up for today's chat with Ray Conway. What an absolute legend. Love chatting with Ray. Really nice guy, really experienced, and lots of interesting perspectives and key takeaways there. So hopefully you learned something. Now, if you did and you enjoyed it, do please like us, leave us a rating or a review, share the episode, and subscribe so you never miss a future episode. Thanks again. Enjoy the rest of your day.